If you're a good salesman, you could sell anything.
Yeah.
If you're a good business owner, you could do anything. If you're a good person and a good business owner, you could take over.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing.
There's nothing special about me. I think that my mindset changed over the years. I'm always looking at the person that can perform better than me.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame Business Podcast. I'm your host, Santini Lancioni. I'm founder of one of the top producing real estate investment companies in New Jersey. I will be having conversations with some of the nation's most successful real estate professionals and business owners. My goal is to educate, elevate, and inspire anyone looking to take their business to the next level.
Welcome to the Limitless Podcast. Today we have Santini Lancioni, who brings a wealth of knowledge in wholesaling real estate. He's the owner of Hall of Fame Real Estate. They have the best team in South Jersey and maybe even New Jersey by far. These guys not only excel in real estate, he excels off real estate in his personal life with being a basketball player in college, helps other people grow their businesses, and just does a lot for the community. So, Santini, thank you for being here.
Well, I appreciate those kind words, man. That means a lot coming from you. I know you've have an established business, and I look up to you in a lot of ways. So to hear that coming from you means a lot, man.
Awesome. I definitely look up to you, too. I like seeing somebody young, aggressive, and go out there and get things done. And that's what you do. You build your business quick, fast, strong, and you keep growing. And I like where you're going with it.
Oh, for sure, man. I think a lot of it has to do with, your life experiences,
Yep.
Your adversity, some of the challenges that you face. And I think growing up, single mom, just struggling, it really taught me how to be self-sufficient, how to adapt to situations. And, I think it drives me, it keeps me hungry. I want to be successful.
Yes.
My mom's, her education was, high school, and she got D's. She never went to college. So I think that's what fuels me every single day, to be successful and just continue to learn and put myself around people like you. It inspires me. I think that's kind of like the secret sauce, just staying inspired.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like the harder the struggle, the more important it is to get out of that struggle and push forward and actually excel and start to become successful.
I agree, man, for sure. So let me ask you, man. I know, you were a cop in your past life. What pushes you every day? Like, what's your why, and how did you get to where you're at today?
Yep. So I was always, I call it a goal setter. Even though I didn't know it at the time, I started to realize what I did later on in life. And, some of the people I used to work with actually used to mention to me, for example. So when I worked at the jail, I was 19 years old. They would make fun of me when we were walking out. They used to say, "Hey, where are you going? Chuck E. Cheese?" Because those guys were going to the bar. Well, I wouldn't go to Chuck E. Cheese. I would go home and go to bed, because in the morning, I wanted to learn construction. I always want to do that next step. I always want to learn. Yeah. So I got a job doing siding. Okay. I work for Windows and Siding by Hahn. The guy's amazing. He's still around. He's in Ariel, New Jersey. I called up, gave me a job for $7 an hour.
Wow.
I just wanted to learn. I figured that was free education for me.
Yeah.
So I started to do that during the day, and I do the jail at night. Sometimes I work overnight doing the 12 to 8, and then I go right into work 24 hours a day. I didn't care.
Right.
I love the work. Everyone knew at the jail. And the jail, you got mandatory overtime, but you could pay somebody to work your overtime.
Yeah.
So, they would give me an extra $50, and I would go ahead and do that. But growing forward, I see the people at the end of the line, those guys that were getting ready to retire, and I'm like, man, they don't look happy. Mm-hmm. My main thing is, you're going to spend all this time working. I want to be happy doing what I want to do. Yeah. And that's kind of, even when I went to the police department, I looked at those people. I'm like, hey, this is all politics. Hey, who could be here more? Who could hang out more? Who could do all this more? I said, you know what? I think I can make it doing it myself. And I started doing that. And when I was at the jail, again, going back, I drew a thermometer. Yeah. And, it was $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and I had little check marks. And as I started saving that money up, when I got to 10, my goal was, I'm going to buy a rental property. Okay. So what I did is, when I got to that $10,000, I bought 729 Jarvis Road. Yeah. I bought it for $82,000.
Wow.
And rented out. I went in there. I rented out the top unit for $750. My mortgage was $850, so I lived for $100 a month and kind of built it up from there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So that's the beginning of Sam DeMaio's journey.
Absolutely.
Where are you at today as far as sales and growth from last year, did you say?
We keep growing, which is good and bad. You got a lot of struggle, but I feel like when you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, there's a couple things that you learn, right? Yeah. Nothing ever gets easier. You just get way better at dealing with what you have coming at you.
Yep.
And you'll be able to overcome those obstacles as they come in. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing now. So that growth spurt of using marketing, because before I never used marketing, it was just, when I say that, I never used paid marketing. Gotcha. It was all word of mouth.
Yeah.
But I decided, hey, I'm going to jump in here and start a one-day bathroom business. We started in February, and we're excelling rapidly.
Okay.
And it's attracting great talent, too, because people see we're doing good for the community, too. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about the business and growing money and all that stuff. That's a good part of it. But when you see you're helping other people and you're doing other things for people and bringing in good people and treating them well, that's where I think you really can excel And that's where we're at now. So already in the first half of the year, I almost doubled what I did last year.
Wow.
And everyone's saying it's a slow year, and they're calling me, and the 3 pizza places in the last 2 days called me, hey, I would like to sell you my business.
Wow.
Number one, I can't cook. So there's no way I'd even give that a shot. But I see, the potential to grow it up and excel in not only just business, but also, help back with the community.
Sure, man. I was talking to Jake earlier about this, about how once you know business, you can apply it to anything, and you can really grow anything in any industry. That's why the skill set of being a leader and learning, how to run your books, how to manage people is just such a unique skill set. And it seems easy, but it's very complex. There's so many variables with the human element. Once you get to a point of confidence, like, I feel like we both are at that point where we could just go into anything and dominate that space. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like if you're a good salesman, you could sell anything.
Yeah.
If you're a good business owner, you could do anything. If you're a good person and a good business owner, you could take over.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. I feel like you got a lot of people around you that support you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, everyone talks about, Santini's a great guy. And you want it. You want that. You want
Absolutely,
that.
Yeah.
And again, when you start growing to a certain level too, there comes the other part, which is a negative thing, which is, people are going to talk crap.
You can't please everybody.
Yeah. No, it's just jealousy. They start to get jealous and they go, hey, look, he's doing this, he's doing that. Well, guess what? The only reason he's doing it is because he's getting up every single day and working as hard as he possibly can for as long as he possibly can.
Yeah.
And that's the key to success.
We put more hours in than anybody.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing special about me. I think that my mindset changed over the years. I'm always looking at the person that can perform better than me. Like it's the who, not how mentality.
Right.
And, when it comes to sales, management, just humans in general, there's always people out there that could do this a little bit better than us.
Sure.
And you got to identify them, find them, pay them well. But you also, on the back end, understand, like, what's the ROI, what's the time frame on the investment that I'm putting out there. If you could run those calculations, process fast, you get to a point where, like, man, any business can be duplicated, it could be scaled to a crazy percent. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So going back to that, so analytics, right?
Yeah.
So you're putting in so much money to the person to run that section of that business.
Yep.
Whether it be the marketing section or the sales section, operations section, or the actual crew member on there getting the job done in construction.
Yeah.
There's all those separate hats. As you grow those hats, you start to put money into that. Yeah. But you also got to be able to, the most important part, you got to be able to see behind the scenes where you're at. Because, you could pay somebody very well and everyone's getting well, and then all of a sudden you go, we did all this work and I've made no money.
Right.
I think people don't understand. They'll see the big number.
Yep.
They'll say, oh my God, we did $17 million in 6 months. But they don't see the struggle behind those numbers, the marketing numbers. And that's something sometimes you got to get everyone together and go, hey, just so you know, we didn't make all of that money. Did we make good money? Yes. But we took that risk.
Yeah.
No risk, no reward.
Yep.
And then if you know the risk, you can know the reward.
For sure.
So it's the same way.
Yeah.
It's all in how you look at it.
Exactly. And people got to understand, too, when you start a new marketing channel, you got to understand, like, how long is it going to take me to break even? So, like, direct mail for us, it might take us 6 months to break even. If we text message and cold call, it might take us 3 months. If we do PPC, it might take us 4 months. So there's a burn rate to your marketing channels and how much money you spend. And you got to really dial that in. And sometimes you don't have the data from your business because it's new. That's why mentors, people that are in the industry, like, you have to either pay them, get in with them somehow. That's how you're going to grow your business and be able to take those huge risks, whether it's an employee or a marketing channel. If you want to get to the next level, that's what it takes. You got to be so uncomfortable and take the risk. Usually, for me, especially, it pays off most of the time. And my biggest risks have been people, usually, because we invest so much of our time into them, managing them,
training
them, emotionally, just getting involved with seeing them be successful.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's very crucial bringing on the right people in your business.
Definitely. Hitting the marketing part, I guess I'll kind of open up to you. You already know. I bought Today's Shopper. That was like the first thing I did. December, they came in and he said, hey, I remember you when you first started, and I always knew you'd be something. And, I talked to him. I said, let me advertise with him. He's a nice guy. And I wanted to advertise anyway. So I put a full page into Today's Shopper. My first customer was a trailer mobile home. Wow. But the guy was phenomenal. We had a great conversation. Yeah. He said the other companies wouldn't come out to him, the other national companies, because they don't go to mobile homes. I said, I'll come to every mobile home every single time. We had so much fun. I spent maybe 10 minutes talking about the product, the other half hour just talking about life with that guy. And we had so much fun. And I realized, hey, marketing is where it's at. And it's a numbers thing. You're like, hey, you're putting out 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000 a month.
Yeah.
to me in my head last year, I would have been like, you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But now, since talking to you and talking to other people, now again, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm like, you know what? I got to bite the bullet and try it. And guess what? It's working.
Yeah.
Fast forward to that company. Gary came to me, the same guy who owns Today's Shopper. He says, hey, Sam, I really respect you. I really like what you're doing here. I'm thinking about selling my business. And I said, hey, why don't you send me over, everything you have. I'll send it to my accountant and review it.
Yeah.
And again, having the right people around you.
Yeah.
So I sent it to my accountant. My accountant goes, well, if you don't do it, I'm going to do it. And I said, why don't we just do it together?
Okay.
So he's like, I'll do the back end work, which I don't like to do anyway. I like to be up front, and I'm a showboat.
Most entrepreneurs are like that.
Yeah. I like to sell. I like to talk to people.
Absolutely.
And he's way better than me at analyzing all that data. Although, being around people like you, him, all that stuff, and learning like the software end of it, I was starting to learn all the analytics and why they work and how they work and what percentages they need to be.
Yeah.
So to break it quickly down, say you put $1,000 into marketing, right? And you want a 35% return, that means you're making $350 on that money.
Yep.
You're basically putting out that 1,000. You're getting so many leads. Of those leads, we'll say the number's 10. I'm making it up. 10 leads. Your salesmen need to close at 40% at a 45 to 55% profit margin to get you to that 35% margin at the back end. Like that is. I set up all numbers for every single job that we do.
Yeah.
Roofing.
Yeah.
It's a set number.
Yep.
I know what I'm going to make going into the job. Flooring, it's a set number.
Yeah.
Things that aren't set are going to be things that are custom. Things that I've never done before, like my ceiling, some of the players' ceilings. It's different sizes. So it's very hard to predict your end number.
Yep.
So you try and get as close as you possibly can so that this way you're going to come out hopefully ahead.
Yeah.
Or it's a good training of what not to do the next time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or what to charge. Perfect example, again, is my ceiling. I spent so much money and time on it, I'll never do it again.
All done now.
Yeah, it's done. It's beautiful. It's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I was thinking I could package it and sell it. There's no way someone's going to even pay me for that.
There's too many moving parts.
Absolutely.
The architectural drawings and all that. That's intense, man.
Yeah,
for sure. I think it's genius that you started the 24-hour bathroom. Whether you bought a business or you did it yourself, one of the things I measure is cash conversion cycle. So when I spend $1 on marketing, how long does it take me to get it back? And depending on the industry you're in, if you're in construction, a kitchen might take 2 months. Depending on the supplier, the customer's availability, your team's bandwidth. Where roofing, it could take one day, 2 days. So the cash conversion's faster. And that's another thing that people need to measure is the time on your marketing dollars. You may be making a 35%, 40% return on your spend, but is it taking you a year to make that? So your volume plays a big factor in that. What's the systems and processes look like as far as sales? Do they have a process in place? Are they hurting your conversion ratios? Are they properly trained? So as you get to that level of spending dollars, you need to make sure you have the net to catch the leads, that you're getting back to them fast enough, and that there's a process. There's a measurable process that can be repeated over and over again. And if you can get to that point, that's when you can start spending serious money on marketing.
Yep.
For us, example, we're spending about $40,000 a month now on direct mail. Wow. And I want to spend more. I say, can we spend more? We have a certain buy box, so there's only so many places in southern New Jersey we can market to. So we're always constantly looking. Like, I know that direct mail might be a 4 or 5 to 1 ROI. So I want to spend $100,000, $200,000 a month. The numbers just go up. But then the concern is the leads. Like, if the leads come in, are we qualifying them? Do they have the bandwidth? The quality of our conversations go down? What time are they coming in? Are we answering them fast enough? So those things are always bottlenecks, and that's when scaling starts happening. You start hiring people because your quality drops, you need another person. Whether you get rid of them or you just don't have enough people to catch the net or catch the leads, that's where you got to measure it. And, it's easy to be a one-man band, but when you want to get to that next level, man, we call them KPIs. They have to be measured.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, key point indicators are definitely important in any business.
Yeah.
Having the L10 meeting, do you run EOS?
We do. We
Okay.
got away from the level 10 because we do Monday morning meetings.
Okay.
They're similar.
Similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I combined a 7-power strategy with the EOS and made my own.
Mm-hmm.
So we have daily huddles, we call them.
Yep.
With just some of the team. And then we'll have the L10 on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And what I found is, again, like you said, you could put $200,000 in marketing, but the most important part is to speed the lead.
Yeah.
Right? So and what I tell people is this. It's real simple. As you're calling, if you wait that day, I already have the job.
Yeah.
So that lead comes in for a bathroom, it needs to be like that second, not 2 seconds, not 3. It needs to be that second because
immediately.
Oh yeah, and then you need to get it out there within 24 to 48 hours.
Yep.
Because I promise you, there's somebody else getting that job. They're that hungry. So if you're not the hungriest guy in the corner, you might as well just keep your money to yourself and not even invest it because you're going to lose it. And then once you go into sales, you got the sales training, right? So again, consistency. You go to McDonald's, not that I like McDonald's, I probably haven't had McDonald's in a while, but you order a quarter pounder, it's going to taste the same here as it does in another spot, as it does in another spot.
Yep.
You got to stay consistent. I think consistency with the sales is going to be the most important part to grow any business.
Yeah.
It's hard to do like a custom remodel shop, like a showcase for models to scale because of that.
Yep. There's too many variables in the kitchen.
Too many.
Plumbing, electrical, there's also subcontractors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's too many choices. So when you scale back to something where you go, hey, pick the shingle color you would like, you could have that done in one call close, we call it.
Yeah.
It's a one call close where we come in, we show the product, we give the price, we offer our promotions as far as warranty, as far as the upgraded financing, 0% for 4 years, 0% for a year, whatever it is, you offer all those things, you go through all those boxes with the customer, and then you show them what our company is about versus anybody else.
Right.
Once you complete that, now you have the back end. So again, if you're putting all this money into marketing, you're going to get a lot of sales once you get that right. Now you need to make sure in the background you're getting it done.
Right, yeah, you actually got to execute the job.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what I came up with is for how many leads I have coming in, so how many sales need to convert to how many jobs that are done, and then how many people in the background we need, whether it be our own people that are doing those jobs, or we're doing subcontractors, or we're doing a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Those guys got to be good because that's your back end thing. And if they're doing a bad job, you're going to have a bad name and it's not going to grow.
Exactly. And when you're constantly measuring them, you can find the single points of failure. So for us, let's say we have 200 leads in a month come in. We know our conversion. It should be around 25% appointment to close ratio. We're at 45% appointment to close.
Phenomenal.
You would think, right? It's a high conversion. For me, it tells me that we're not going to enough appointments. I want to get to the industry standard of 25%.
Gotcha.
And that's very important that we set more appointments because if you look at what our goal is, we're usually under on those appointments set.
Gotcha.
But our sales guys are converting at such a high clip. So I'm like, all right, they're overqualifying leads. Or we got to dial it back to marketing. Or are we getting bad leads from marketing? And which channels are they coming from? Which counties? Which list providers? So like we're able to pinpoint those, stop spending money on them. And then guess what? Our ROI goes up. Our speed goes up. But the sales guys don't have to worry about all that because we're figuring it out through KPIs, through logic, through measuring. And if it boils down to a sales conversion problem, then we can come after the people and train them correctly. And if they don't perform or they're not the right fit, then we replace them. So everything in business is just very logical and you have to measure it. You have to do it daily. The huddles, like you mentioned, we do the same thing every single day. We're measuring how many calls they're making, how many appointments they attended, their average talk time. We measure the marketing, how many net leads came in, how many qualified leads, how much money did we spend today. Again, it's very complex. It's possible for anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's possible.
So you use metrics to be able to determine, your profit, and then you'll be able to forecast, right? That's the goal. Before I started EOS, I had nowhere to actually aim on. I just went bananas every single day.
Work money.
Work crazy. Yeah. Why am I spending time? I'm not going to stop to do this. I'm not going to stop to do that. I literally just worked as hard as I could for as long as I could with no real goal. It was organized.
Everyone kind of does that in the beginning. When you start.
Yep. But I feel like, if we could break to the point where, again, in construction, the hardest thing is to get to that first million. But once you get that million, it's easy to get to that second million and third million. Then it kind of gets hard a little bit until you get to 5.
Yeah.
And then from 5 to 10, it's almost like the same. Like you make the same exact money.
Yeah.
As you did with 5, with 7.5, 9, and then once you get to 10, it's like, okay, here's what you do. It's either you go all in and you do just like you're doing now with the metrics.
Yeah.
You analyze everything. You fix what's not working, and you keep rolling with it, and then you pump more into it. So it's like a machine, you're putting money into it to get money out of it.
Yeah.
Right? And the better you start to learn how to put the money in is how the back end money is going to come out. And that's where we're at. So, and then I guess we'll talk about leveraging AI.
Yeah, I actually haven't leveraged any AI yet.
So just a couple of quick tips that I've seen that I haven't instituted yet, but I see other companies doing.
Okay.
The call center.
Yeah.
They have a program where as they're speaking, it's recording everything.
Okay.
It's also giving that person that's on the phone tips that they didn't say.
Yeah.
And if they miss a certain term, AI knows it. It says you missed this, you missed this, you missed this.
Oh wow! So it's auditing your calls.
Auditing the calls. Then it'll rank them.
Yeah.
Then what it does, it takes all your callers. Say you have 10 or 15, whatever you may have. It takes the top one. It starts pulling out what they're saying the best, and starts retraining the other ones based off your top guy
Oh, wow.
or girl.
That's a whole different ballgame, man.
Yeah. So that I saw that work in real time. It was pretty cool.
That's amazing.
It was pretty cool. And then another thing that we use is we have another answering service at nighttime after 8 o'clock.
You're showing me it. That one?
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So it's pretty neat. What you basically call up, takes your name, your number, ask what kind of job you want it. It'll actually send you a schedule to your phone. You can book an appointment right from there.
Amazing.
So just another thing. And then, we started building our own software out.
Okay.
With automations. So that'll be like the next level. I mean, automation's been around forever, but leveraging AI with automations, with scaling, with marketing, that's kind of that front
You have
end.
your own proprietary white label CRM almost
Absolutely.
at that point.
Yeah.
That's cool. So listen, you have a beautiful house. I'm very impressed by everything you've done in your business. Cars, you got your life together. I love it, man. What pushes you to make money, be successful?
So I got to tell you, every time I do something else or start going after something else like a business or trying to make more money, my wife just, why are you doing this? What's the reason? We're good. Like, we don't have to have the business. Our rental properties support everything that we do anyway. And I got to tell you, it's almost like a drug.
Yeah.
Once you start understanding business, how to run a business, metrics, it's almost like going to a casino. Because, you're in there and you're having fun. Like, I have fun every day.
Yeah.
Like, I show up and, the guys are great. They're fun. Everyone's having fun. They're working, but they're having fun too. And then as they're working, you start to see, happiness for them. And you start to see they're actually being happy about doing something. Then you see them buying a house. You see them buying a car. And you see all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's all because you know how to do something and you're working hard to do something to build up for everybody else.
Yeah.
And it also helps you. So as you help others, it's going to come back to you 10 times.
It's contagious, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people that they go to the beach or they like to play basketball, surf, whatever it is. Like, business is our hobby.
That's right.
It's just, we just happen to get paid for it and we do it 24/7. People get on my case too. Like, how big do you want to get? Do you even need more? Honestly, it's because of the people I hang out with, right? They're always looking for more. They're always thinking bigger. They're always inspiring me. And I get to see the type of impact they've had. And to tell you the truth, we're small compared to most people. Like,
Absolutely.
when I go to my real estate mastermind, there's guys out there that are massive, right? Doing $40-50 million a month. And they're in their 30s, and there's nothing unique about them. They just thought bigger. They took bigger risks. They multiplied faster. They've gotten more education. And, that's what gets me, is like, why not me? Like, why can't I own that skyscraper in Philadelphia? Or why can't I be the guy that has the biggest house on the block?
Right.
Coming from where I come from. So it's not about how much, it's about, maximizing your potential. If it gives you energy, you love it, you're being impactful, you're doing business the right way. Like, why wouldn't you try to take this as big as you can without, jeopardizing your livelihood and putting people at risk? I think it's, there's a balance of it for sure.
Definitely. I met a billionaire at a wedding one time, and I thought what he said was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He said, what you're taking to make and spending your time on 50,000 or 100,000 or 200,000, I'm looking at something to make $1 billion.
Yeah.
I'm not even wasting my time with the 100,000 or 200,000. And that kind of stuck with me, like, oh, wow, maybe I should be looking at that bigger picture.
Yeah.
And doing that. And again, taking what he's saying, but also making sure that I could still provide for my family.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said,
Yeah.
mitigate the risk.
Yeah.
And then also reap the benefits of the reward.
Yeah. It's calculated risk, man.
Yep.
But that comes with confidence.
Yeah.
Like, someone would be terrified to, buy a beach house. I was scared when I bought my first beach house. Now I want a bigger one because I know, like, how it is. Like, the confidence, you earn the credibility in business, and, that goes a long way. It's just not something you could jump into. Most people that just jump into business or real estate and they go too big, they end up losing their shirt. They end up affecting all of their investors. I've seen it so many times. They buy bad deals because they're so excited. But you got to earn your stripes. You got to buy that first duplex like Sam talked about. See the cash flow come in. See how hard it is to manage that one tenant. Because when you hire a property manager, you can prepare them for that tenant. Or like what, eliminate all of the bottlenecks that you saw, make it more efficient for them so you could scale it. And, you got to earn your stripes in this business.
That's right.
But you could do it quick. I mean, it doesn't have to be too slow.
No. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, and you got to, but again, when you start in business, a lot of people are like, hey, let me go and buy the fancy truck.
yeah.
Let me go and buy the fancy watch. No, you got to wait a little bit.
Yep.
Like you said, earn it. Once you start coming in, the perfect example where you said beach house.
Yeah.
So I was so comfortable buying the $30,000 La Cascada house. I have 10 of them. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is cool. I know how to do this. I know how to do this.
Yeah.
And then, being, comfortable, being uncomfortable, my wife's like, let's buy a shore house. Every year it goes up $50,000. It was
Yeah.
$50,000. So finally, I'm like, all right, let's see if we can make it work. At least if we could break even, I'd be happy. But not only did I break even, I made an extra $7,000 because I saved my $10,000 I was spending in the summer, renting the house out for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I was making another $7,000. So to me, that was a win. Once I got that under control, I started to fix the house up, and then I rented it out for $1,500 more a week. Now, for that property, I get $5,000. Once I had that, I know I could do this. Let me do it again. So I bought a bigger property.
Wow.
And I did the same thing. And that property, I get $6,500 a week. And then once I had, even though I love that property probably the best, I wanted to buy something on the water, on the ocean. So that's when I found this penthouse. My wife actually tricked me. She told me, hey, we're going to go down, meet the realtor, Brian, and he's going to show us this 4-unit property on 26th Street in North Wildwood. I said, perfect. I'm excited to see it. Went there. I'm like, I love it. And then we go to this other house. We go on the elevator. We go all the way up. Opens the door. All I see is the ocean. I go, oh, you just screwed me. I already know what you did. I already know this is one we're buying. She's like, I would really like to get this. I'm like, let's just get it.
That's amazing.
So, and then from there.
You took your time, like baby steps.
I did.
And obviously you're successful. You're making money on the rentals. You got your business. It's you didn't just jump right into the waterfront house.
That's right. That's
important to know.
And again, I think it's the book Good to Great from Jim Collins. You do that the bullet before you do the cannonball. Before you jump in, shoot it out a couple times, see if it's going to work. Yeah. And that's in anything.
Exactly, man. And I think too, we're talking to the top 1%, right? Not everyone's cut out to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone has the risk tolerance and even the ability to do what we do. And you got to realize too, your profile. Am I someone that could get richer working for someone like a Charlie Munger, right? He worked for Warren Buffett. David Glass, who worked for Sam Walton at Walmart. These guys became multi-billionaires working for a visionary like a Sam, someone that had the risk tolerance, the ability to go out there and perform, and don't always try to chase the shiny object. Like we could be shiny objects sometimes where you see the success, I want to do that. But hey, go find someone like us, work for them, learn from them, or even blow it up even bigger than we are. And just it goes back to understanding your profile and what you're capable of. For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So again, I think you're right about that too. So, certain people are able to excel even more than me in a certain area, whether it be sales or management or operations, those people can make a lot of money. Yeah. More than they ever could. And they don't have to do everything that we do. Nah. Because we do a lot. We handle a lot, right?
You don't have to put up the money either.
Nothing. No risk there, other than, hey, they're risking coming over with us, right? Coming over with us, they risk the chance that we go out of business. Right. Yeah. So, and I'd rather them bank on us than bank on anybody else in this area.
Exactly, man. I don't foresee myself going backwards. I always like to improve, scale a little bit, go into different business ventures. What's next for you, man? Like, what's your goals for the remainder of this year?
Yep. So my goals for the remainder of the year is to make sure I can make the numbers work for my one-day bathroom business. Okay. Build that up to 4 salesmen by the end of the year. Okay. I already have the operations part so under control now, with being able to hire someone that really cares about his position. Yeah. He's super excited. He came on making less money. He started on Monday. And I got to tell you, the guy blows me away in SOP writing by far. Yeah. I thought I was pretty good. Yeah. Military, SOP, all that stuff. This guy wrote literally almost like a book and then summarized it down and made it forms for everything. Wow. So literally from the sales process all the way down to the installation to be able to have it done in one day. Yeah. He's revamping my whole office there. And I thought I had it good. I did because I actually, in the beginning, I paid another company to come in and show me what they do. Yeah. And they don't do anything compared to what this guy does. Wow. And already he's changing things. And once you bring that culture or a guy in there that has that positivity, it rubs off on everyone that wants to be positive. The other thing it does, it exposes the people that don't want to be positive. Right, yeah. And then, hey, look, that's the person that either decides, let me get on this boat or let me just hop off and go to shore.
Well, who got you to your first million is not going to get you to your second million.
That's right.
That's the mentality with people are going to jump off the ship.
Absolutely.
As you grow and challenge them and get uncomfortable.
It is hurtful, though. It's hurtful when you see someone that you thought can go ahead and start to level up with you and go, hey, there's no way you could do it in one day. I'm like, but he's doing it in one day. Yeah. Well, I want to see it. Well, let me show you. Yeah, it's possible. Give him an opportunity. Then when he does it, they go, okay, I didn't know we could do that.
Yeah. It's amazing what the human brain, the limits we put on it. People just don't think it's possible. But you find someone that is talented, it gives them energy, that task, and they blow it out in like a half hour versus someone that takes 3 days to do it.
Absolutely.
That's why it's important to find the right people in the right seats. Yeah. That could blow up your business.
Absolutely. Yeah, so. And again, I think it goes back to, the tick story. I've never heard the tick story or the flea. It's the flea. No. Ever heard the flea? So here's the flea story. So flea can jump, making these numbers up, 48 inches, right? At maximum height, 48 inches. However, if a flea gets put in a box that's 10 inches, and the flea starts jumping and it keeps on hitting its head on the top of that box over and over and over, well, guess what? That flea is going to jump 9.5 inches. And then that flea, they have babies and those babies start to jump. Well, they're only going to jump 9.5 inches.
Yeah.
Right? It only takes that one person to break out of that box to show everybody else that it can be done to bring everybody else up. And that's kind of what we're trying to do in business and life itself.
Yeah, I think that's why, great story. You got to do that in, your circle. Hanging out with guys like you, Tim, Rich. I get to see what's possible out there.
Absolutely.
Right? It's I don't want to think hey, $1 million, $2 million is enough. We could take this thing to $100 million, and you need your crew to inspire you.
Oh, yeah.
And there's going to be a day where you may outgrow us, or I might outgrow you guys.
Right.
We're going to find another crew that's going to push us to the $200 million or $1 billion mark.
Definitely.
But you gotta keep that in the back of your head.
Oh, yeah.
Your crew has to grow with you, or I would change up your circle.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I have to agree with you there, too. Yeah. Rowing with people, and even somebody, they might not be above you on money-wise or whatever, but their drive also drives you. But, again, being in the rooms where they're making $100 million or $100 million, or I have a $200 million contract, that's also a drive for you, too. Hey, I need to get there, too. Because I'm cool, I made $10 million. No, I need to make $100 million.
Yeah.
And then going back to,
it's the same effort, too.
Absolutely.
Same hours in a day.
Definitely. And going back to, Rich and Tim and those guys, nobody really works more than Tim, honestly.
Yeah, he's a hard worker.
I got to tell you, I seen the guy, I'm this guy's, he's strange to the point where he's amazing.
Yeah.
And the reason he's amazing, he'll push himself day all the way to night, drive himself crazy.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, he got it done.
Yep.
So I have to tell you, I do look up to him in that way, where he pushes really, really hard. And when I tell people, well, I could do what Tim does, no, you can't.
No, you're not going to outwork them.
No, you can't do it. It just can't be done.
You can do it with the right people.
That's right.
But you won't do it single-handedly.
No,
it's very hard. Nor do you want to.
They don't know. Yeah, they don't want to. And they don't realize what is actually done to make it happen what he makes happen.
You got to give up a lot in life.
That's it.
To get to that point.
Oh, yeah. And you got to love it. Again, you got to go back and love it. And that's another thing. People, you're looking at people, you're like, okay, I'm going to hire this guy. He's going to do this. He's just like me. And then he falls short. And then you're like, oh, my God, let me get another guy. And he falls short. And then it came a long time to realize what you want is 80% out of what you do out of that person.
Yeah.
And then you'll be satisfied. Because if you keep saying, this guy can do what I can do, that 100%, and he doesn't do it, you're just going to be dissatisfied
you're going to have
all the
turnover all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for us, man, I want to see our brokerage grow. My goal was to do $100 million in the brokerage. We're going to probably do about $50 million in our home buyers investor space. We're at a net margin. I say we'll net around $2 or $3 million with the home buyer space, and then you got the rental properties and all that. But it all boils down to net profit at the end of the day. The $100 million doesn't really matter. What are you bringing home? Low margins in this space because of how big the sales are. But yeah, man, I would love to get to a net profit of $10 million in the next 3 to 4 years. And then I think at that point, opportunities are going to open up. Commercial, people do transactions where they make $5, $10 million just in one. Like Rich, I don't know if he wants me to say this, but he's got a land development opportunity that he's almost done. He's going to make $2 million off that.
That's right.
That might take someone the entire year to do that,
or their life.
Years, their life.
Yeah, their life.
It's one deal he scooped up.
Absolutely.
He's doing a couple of those too.
Yeah, he's thinking bigger.
Yeah,
he's thinking bigger.
So
yeah, we're doing 2 of them together actually.
Yeah.
2 new ones, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. And I've been buying a couple lots just to see what we can do and get them done.
Yeah, it's good to feel each other out. Yeah, not go all crazy. But there's a guy in my mastermind. He did a land development for a multifamily. He negotiated with the buyer to stay in the deal at 15%, and he netted $15 million on the assignment. So he never even bought the property. He just developed it, contractually assigned it to the new buyer, stayed in the deal as an owner, made $15 million.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That's you go retire.
Think big.
Yeah.
Think big. Put yourself in circles around where they also think big, and that's what happens.
Exactly. But anything else or no?
No, I think we pretty much wrapped up a lot. We covered a lot of good stuff. I think.
Yeah, good conversation. Just learning. From you.
A lot of good nuggets.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah,
you got it.
All right.
Have a great day.
Thanks.